Angry guy here. And please remember to subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Today, we are discussing why women are admitting that they don't love men and only love their money. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
How much does a man have to make to date you?
How much does he have to what?
Make to date you.
How much he has to make? I mean, first of all, he gotta be rich as fuck like Elon Musk. Like
how much?
Like Elon Musk.
You think a guy who's rich like Elon Musk is going for you though?
Elon Musk would eat this pussy all night. You know, 80 years old or 8 years old, he wanna eat this pussy. It's like, nah.
What makes you think he'd be interested in you?
What makes you think he'd be interested in me? I mean, first of all, I'm so sexy. You know, like, I'm very natural. Like, I ain't no, like, you know, hood bitch. Ain't no street bitch. Ain't no airplane bitch. Ain't no one-of-kind bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't like that.
So what kind of girl are you then?
What kind of girl am I? Like, yeah. I'm super fun. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so adventurous. I'm just kidding. I'm really just a bad bitch and I don't give a fuck about nobody. Okay. I don't give a fuck.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'5", but I can be taller, you know, if I stretch this pussy tall enough. You know what I
mean? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, guys. There's so much to unpack right there. Okay? Guys, they're not even hiding it anymore. All right? They only want your money. They only want your money. They only want to use you for your time, your attention, your time, and your money. And this is the reason why I tell guys that you need to get off this notion that she can ever love you. Some of you guys are going over to the Philippines and you think that these Filipinas are really head over heels for you and that they genuinely love you and that somehow they are different or better than Western women. This is incorrect. You're viewing it incorrect. They are raised differently. They are raised to be wives. They are raised to be motherers. They are raised to be nurturers. That doesn't make them better than women in Western society. That means that they will give you the things that you're looking for in a woman. But you have to understand that they are still biologically women. Their brains are still wired the exact same way. A woman in the Philippines recently went after Sunshine Shoulders. That's another password broke content creator on YouTube. And she basically said that you were over in your own country and you couldn't achieve success over there. And now you're in the Philippines. So you basically need to be grateful because you're living a life that you really don't deserve. That's what she was literally saying. She called him a broke boy. But here's the thing that people don't really realize. Take this into consideration. If you have $30,000 in disposable income every year, right? Like that's the amount of money that you have left over after you get taxed. A person can live off $3,600 a year comfortably in the Philippines. Comfortably. If a person making $300,000 goes to the Philippines, unless he is a simp, he is not going to spend. He's not going to spend $100 for a $1 cup of coffee. A lot of guys make that mistake. So when you go over to the Philippines, that $30,000 that you have, that money is going to, boy, oh boy, oh boy. The things you're going to be able to do with that money, it's going to be more like you have, I want to say $300,000 in the States, but not even. That money is going to take you much further. That $30,000 in the Philippines is going to take you much further than $300,000 in the United States will take you per year. For most people in most places. I will say it again. That $30,000 in the Philippines is going to take you much further than $300,000 will take you in the United States. You can rent a place for you get a 2-bedroom apartment for $100, $150, $200 a month in the Philippines. Very, very easily. And if you know a Filipina, it can be even cheaper than that. You will live you will live in something for $150 or $200 a month that would cost $10,000 or even $20,000 a month in the United States, depending on where you live. We're talking about in cities like San Diego, LA, New York, even places in Texas. You've got to be kidding me. So these Filipinas, they're acting like they're virtuous, and they're like they're taking these men, and it's like, you know, they're so humble. The problem is that a lot of these passport bros don't realize that the Filipina is getting the best deal you could ever imagine. It's a $1 cup of coffee. It's a $1 cup of coffee. So you're not going to spend. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. You're not going to spend $100 for a $1 cup of coffee. You will live like a king on $30,000. So someone who goes over to the Philippines with $300,000 in disposable annual income will have no reason to ever spend anywhere even remotely close to that. You know what he's going to be spending? He's going to be spending very similarly, that's how he's supposed to be spending, to the guy who only makes $30,000 a year in disposable income. Because the dollar cup of coffee is a dollar cup of coffee. A $200 house, no matter how nice it is, it's still a $200 house in the Philippines. It doesn't matter if it's $20,000 in the US to rent that. It's still $200 in the Philippines. That's what it's worth. These women are just being honest now in the streets. Women are naturally hypergamous. Yeah, they're naturally hypergamous. They're not monogamous. Human beings are hypergamous, both men and women, by nature. But we have been conditioned for monogamy for the sake of a stable society. But the very moment that a woman does not need a man to survive, or believes that she does not need a man to survive in society anymore because that is being replaced by the state, and she's able to go out and earn her own money and compete directly with the man, hypergamy kicks into full gear. That's why most women today, they call it that they say they're going through their 304 phase in their 20s, basically sowing their oats, and then in their 30s and 40s, they want to settle down with a nice guy, basically a simp, who's now supposed to pay $100 for a $1 cup of coffee. Let's be real. It was free. It's a free cup of coffee, but they want you to pay $100 for a cup of coffee that the homeless guys were getting for free. And a lot of these guys are so foolish. And so many guys have this romantic idea of women and relationships, and it's like they can't learn their lesson. If you can't learn your lesson, please leave. I don't want you here. I don't want you. If you cannot learn your lesson, if you cannot understand that you are not being fair to women by thinking that women are supposed to be what you want them to be, instead of understanding what they are and accommodating that accordingly, adapting to that. The Filipinas are not virtuous. This is just their means of survival. Being a wife, being a mother, being a nurturer, that's how they survive. While in Western society, women choose their careers, in the Philippines, they choose to be a wife and a mother, a caretaker, a nurturer, not solely because that's those are their instincts, but because that's their means of survival. That's what women did before the state existed and began offering things like public assistance. Let me tell you all this right now. If Public assistance became widely available in the Philippines, and Filipinas had more opportunities to make a substantial income in the same way that they can in the United States. You would quickly begin to witness Filipinas walking away from relationships, breaking up with the men, saying that they don't want to do this anymore because they don't need him. And their expectations would skyrocket. Y'all need to wake up. I like Mayumi. I like, I like her as a person. She has a lot of respect for her husband. And they're very, traditional. But let's make this very clear. Most women are not. And hypergamy is a natural instinct of a woman. Just like it is a natural instinct of a man. We are naturally hypergamous, but we have been conditioned to be monogamous. And that is going against our biology. Throughout history, only around 30% of men ever reproduce. That is a fact that has remained consistent well into the 1800s. Only because of the Industrial Revolution and society becoming more adapted to provide for more stable, basically. Only because of that did we begin shifting over to monogamy and saying that for every woman, there should be one man, and we should only do this because it creates a stabler society. But you can only maintain that balance when the man is the primary provider and the woman is dependent upon the man. When the woman no longer needs to depend solely on the man, that script is thrown out the window. And women return to their natural instincts, which is going for the top men, the top guys. And things have changed so much now that most women, as you can see in Western society, they're going for the top 5% of men, and that's generous. But many don't even want the top 5. They're going for the top 10% of the top 1% because their standards have raised that much. And with social media allowing them to connect to simps who are constantly telling them that they're beautiful and perfect just the way they are, they're completely disconnected from reality. And then when they go out and they get into, they get intimate with these Chads and these Tyrones, basically, are these NBA players or these YouTubers and rappers or these social media influencers, they start to think that they're top shelf too. Because they're like, oh, wow, I got intimate. And they call him dates. Oh, I went on a date. Bro, he didn't even take you out. You went back to his hotel room. He wouldn't even take you to his house. He took you to a hotel, sometimes a motel. All right? A lot of times he didn't even give you a glass of wine. Didn't even offer you a drink. Didn't even offer you a bottle of water. You just stepped in and y'all went straight to business. And you call that a date. If he ever calls you back a second time, you say that you went on a couple of dates. Come on. And now the girl starts thinking that those are the kinds of men that she deserves until reality starts to set in. And now she decides that, okay, she's willing to settle for a guy who's not an NBA player. She's willing to settle for a guy who's not a rapper or a YouTuber. Okay? She's willing to settle for a simple, humble millionaire that's at least 6 feet tall, can give her 6 inches, has a six-pack, makes above 6 figures. And he has to have a bunch of all these other qualities too. And that's the guy she's settling for. That's the plan B guy, and she will never love you. She can love what you can do for her. She can love things that you have. She can love even certain qualities about you, but she will never love you. The guys that she actually loves are the Plan S guys who are not doing anything for her at all. And so many of you guys are lost in this mental state where you are determined that you're going to romanticize it and you're going to refuse to accept it. That women, by nature, just like men, are not monogamous. They are hypergamous. If you want to court a woman, the reason why you have so much success in the Philippines is because the women know that you're the prize. And they know they have to act quickly because it is a matter of survival for them. Even when you have a Filipina that does not need you, let me make it clear, she wants you. Because even if she has her own job, making her own money, she's not spending that money on you. She's not spending that money to pay for the bills in the house. That money is hers. So her money is her money, and your money is her money. So you're basically covering all the expenses for her. You're paying all the bills. You're paying for the food. You're paying for the house. You're paying for everything. And you may feel like it's nothing at all, and she may not act like it's anything at all, but all the money that she's making, she's putting in the bank. She's stacking it up. She's stacking up that paper. So you're in a relationship with this woman for, let's say, 5 years, and let's say she's making like $3,600 or $5,000 a year. Let's say she's making $5,000 a year, right? In disposable income. Because now she can pick and choose between the jobs that she does. So she finds something that she really wants because she's not desperate anymore. And when you're not desperate, you can pick and choose. So she's making $5,000 a year, which again is a ton of money in the year. In the Philippines, $3,600 is a lot of money. So $5,000 is a ton. She's making $5,000 a year in disposable income, and you're paying for everything. You are subsidizing everything, and you are putting money in her pocket on top of that. Every dime that she makes, she is putting in the bank. So after 5 years, she's going to likely have probably around $25,000 in disposable income. And you don't realize what you're doing is you are helping her to build her stability. You're her plan B guy also. But you don't even realize it. And it's so exhausting trying to explain it to you. When I tell you guys, don't marry him. You don't have to. No one in their right mind. I don't care what country you're in. I don't care how wonderful this person seems to you. Don't get married. You have no reason to get married, and you have every reason not to. And the laws are changing in a lot of these countries. They're introducing divorce in the Philippines. So a lot of these expats, they're going to end up losing half their stuff potentially. Because now she has complete leverage. In Thailand, they're introducing taxation on foreigners, where they will tax any money that you make outside of the country. And they will start taxing you once you've been in the country for 180 days. Over 180 days. If you've been in the country for over 180 days, they will immediately start taxing you on any money that you make outside of the country. This is completely unheard of. So they will tax you on your holdings in the United States and in any other country. And they're saying that they need to do this because, the people in the country are struggling and they need the money. Guys, this is insane. And a lot of you are just like, oh, I don't know. Okay, whatever. And then you start crying your eyes out when you lose your income and you get screwed over. Don't come to me. Don't cry to me. Don't come to me. Don't cry to me. Leave me alone. I don't know y'all. Don't come back here when things get wrecked for you. Some of y'all don't learn your lesson until your second divorce. The first time wasn't enough. You lost half your stuff the first time. And then it's only after you lose everything in your second divorce and you're living in the woods that you finally say, yeah, Angry was right. I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Let's talk about them there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.